Hello everybody and welcome to our Templar leveling guide part 2. And in this video what you're going to see is how to actually use the Holy Flame Totem and the Flame Wall together so that you can move quickly through the maps and level very fast. You'll also see that when we do run in with a boss Brutus that he goes down pretty quickly with this setup. In video part 3, we're going to touch on how to increase that damage for when you get to Mervale, as well as getting you some nice defenses early on so that Mervale isn't too hard for you. Alright, enjoy part 2 everyone, and we'll just get straight into the video. So as we progress here, what you're going to want to do is just drop this Holy Flame Totem and keep on moving. Because the Holy Flame Totem is actually going to kill things very quickly as we progress through this. You can even drop the Flame Wall too if stuff is being really picky about dying for you. So again, just dropping that Flame Wall and then keep moving. Flame Wall or Flame Totem, I should say. Because basically we're going to be able to soak up this experience from these enemies as we're moving, which is very useful to us. And these blue packs of enemies are really nice to take out. These are the only ones that I might suggest that you kind of stop and make sure they're dead, because you definitely want to make sure you get the experience points from the blue enemies. We can pick up this Pua ring, which is going to help with a little bit of our mana regen early on. So as you can see, we're very early game, and we're already dealing, quite a bit of damage as we progress. And that's, again, why I say you want to just be increasing your damage as much as possible as you level. So there we go. Again, these are blue, so we're going to go ahead and just use our Purifying Flame. Don't forget that you do have a Frost Blink now, too. And the other reason that killing enemies is very good is that it refills your flask charges. So you're actually going to be able to refill your Quicksilver Flask, which helps with your movement speed. So one thing you'll notice is that we did not find the depths for that area, which can get you an additional passive point. It is important that we get all of the passive points. It's just not important early on, and we can definitely go back and pick up that passive point later. So as we're leveling quickly, we're just going to keep going. The idea is that you always want to be moving. You never want to have a chest piece on for the moment. And you want to pick up blue items, rare items, and you want to also be looking out for the items that are going to have links. Now, if you got your passive point from back in the cave, you could use that waypoint to go back to town now and pick up some more things. But for myself, I think we're not really going to need it. And we're just going to keep on moving. You know what? I do want to pick up these Wisdom Scrolls. That is definitely something that you will want to grab because you need quite a bit of them starting out. Oh, there we go. Medium Life Flask. Never forget those. And we also got a helmet now, which is a Vine Circlet. And that's actually just going to help us with sockets a little bit.
Mana is spent.
Also do want to be looking out for a mana flask. You can buy one if you get into a pinch.
You won once. Do not get ahead of yourself.
Okay, level 4. Excuse me, not level 4. 4 points, I should say. Now, what I recommend you do is, when you get to this point where you have the choice to go here or here, just go down here and just pick up some life now. So we have a lot of damage coming up through this. Pick up this life node, and then that can transition you into more damage here. Okay, moving on to the climb. This is another zone where you don't want to stop for every single pack of enemies, because the enemies are a little bit more spread out through this area. But again, if you find a packs like this, you can just drop your Holy Flame Totem and your Flamewall and let that do the work for you as you just keep on moving by. And we're just going to pretend like they're not even there. I want to make sure you always grab these waypoints. They're extremely useful. Okay, pick up a couple items there. And there we go. We're going to go ahead and take down the Bonds. Now, normally I wouldn't have to take him down again because I've already done that in one of my other playthroughs. But, you know, I don't mind taking him down right now because I'm kind of just showing you guys how to level. Basically how it's going to be on your first playthrough. And you will want to kill him on your first playthrough.
Claws at the bars and howls for freedom.
Okay, so progressing into the prison, you can go back to town right there again using that waypoint. But if you don't need to go back, then it's better just to keep on moving. And just don't forget, you don't have to stop for these enemies. You can just place the Holy Flame Totem and the Flame Wall, and you'll be doing plenty of damage to kill most of the enemies. You can even throw a Purifying Flame if you wanted to do even more damage, but it's not necessary in most occasions.
To damnation with you!
Okay, we went in a big circle. Sometimes you will get a bad layout. Now, normally you would go up here and do all of these trials. I've already done them, so I'm going to move on. Because I don't want to take up too much the video length by showing you trials, which you'll more than likely figure out on your own anyway. Okay, moving on to the upper prison. This is actually where you're going to find the Warden's Chambers and the first, you know, minor boss of the campaign. Sometimes you'll have to kill a few enemies to get into a room because they just don't like you going in there. Okay, blue enemies. This is a great pack of enemies. You always want to be looking out for this on your playthroughs because though that was a very big blue pack of enemies, and that's a good chunk of XP we can get right before going into the Warden, which we're gonna need it. Okay, now we're so close to leveling up. You can actually just go ahead and take out. Yeah, there we go. See, and we picked up our next type of flask as well, which is going to be the large. Okay, great. This is wonderful progress. We can also go ahead and throw on our scepter here. This is actually going to become up here for that later on. Let's go ahead and leave most of this alone for now. Now the next thing you want to do is make sure that you don't take this lower elemental damage node. You want to be taking this one so that you can get this and this. If you're playing a melee build, then maybe you could do that a little bit differently.
In Raycraft, but I don't think you'll like it.
But for the purposes of this video, we will be going with what I've chosen. The only way to get there on this part is to just fucking get there. Okay, and the technique is no different. We're just going to put down our Holy Flame totem and pass the Holy Flame totem through the firewall, and then use Purifying Flame to kind of support our damage there. Just make sure you frost blink as he's about to hit you, like that, and you can dodge his attacks pretty easily.
Let me brace you.
And in no time, you should have him taken down with the combination of skills that we're using. Okay. Now, again, every time we get something like this, you want to just pick up as many as you can. We did also pick up a large life flask, which is going to be very nice because now we don't have to rely on these mediums anymore. We can actually even just throw these out. Now, the next part of this is that when you kill Brutus, you can actually, again, right here, you don't have to progress up any further. You can just hit the escape key and click return to character selection. You're gonna click back in, and you'll be in town, and you will not have used any wisdom scrolls. Okay, we need to grab some stuff for our Holy Flame totem. We have red, so fire damage is gonna work perfectly. And then on top of that, what we can grab is, I like to use the Summon Phantasm on kill. Oops. There it is. So we're gonna put that here, and Holy Flame Totem goes here. Flame Wall goes there, and there we go. Summon Phantasm on support. The other thing we can do is we have Purifying Flame here in this one. We can take off this and add in our fire damage, and we can add in lightning damage to our Purifying Flame, which is very, very nice. And then over here, we have the Flame Wall with one thing. I'm actually going to switch my Arcane Surge to that. And then we can... You actually do want to identify boots. Especially if you've got a nice rare set of boots, you want to make sure you're identifying those so you can equip them. Belts are kind of the same thing. You want to make sure you're using those. This Sapphire Ring we're going to use because it's got cold resistance, and we actually really, really need that for the Merville fight that's coming up. You can also make another Sapphire Ring just by selling an Iron Ring and any blue gem. Hit accept, and then make sure you go ahead and equip that instead of our Pua Ring. Don't get your Pua Rings and your Sapphire Rings confused. They do look the same. Okay, now the next thing we're gonna do, we need one more red gem, because what we want to do is just buy any one, the cheapest one you can find. Because we have an Iron Ring, and we can make another Ruby Ring, which is actually very, very good. And again, I will show you how to use those after a while here. Okay, just go ahead and do all of these. Sell them. And that'll get us our alterations, which is very nice for us right now.
Take care.
Alright, well I did have to cut myself off a little bit short there at the end. That's because I'd like to keep all these videos at around 15 minutes or so in length. That does mean that we're going to have one more part for the Templar leveling guide, which should be around 15 minutes as well. Consider dropping a subscribe so you can be notified when that video drops. I hope to see everyone for our next video.